readers, welcome to Read Aloud. Today we get to continue reading another informational text. Any guesses about what this informational text will be about? This one's pretty cool, and I bet something that many of you have never seen before. When we're reading, we're going to think about the author's purpose. We're going to think about the author's purpose. Good. We know that the author's purpose is the reason why an author writes something. Maybe it's the reason why they write the whole text, or maybe it's just the reason why they write a small little piece of the text. To do that, we have to ask ourselves, what does the author want us to know, think, or feel? Do it with me. What does the author want us to know, think, or feel? We do this so that we can figure out if the author is trying to persuade us, inform us, or maybe just entertain us. I'm wondering today, we're reading an informational text. Do you think the author is trying to persuade, inform, or entertain us? I agree with you. I'm pretty sure the author is trying to inform us about this special topic. But maybe they're trying to entertain us and tell us some cool stuff or get us to think a certain way about the topic. So they could be persuading us too. So, tiny drum roll please. The topic is bats. Silent excitement, bats. This text is by Gail Gibbons. We get to read all about bats. Looking at the title, what are you already wondering? Wow, I can tell that based on the cover and the title that the story is about bats, and this is a nighttime scene. So I'm wondering, maybe bats just like the nighttime. We'll have to read and see. Bats dive, swoop, and swerve through the dark night sky. These creatures are nocturnal. That's a new word. I hope the author tells us what it means. These creatures are nocturnal, meaning they are awake at night and asleep during the day. Most people have never seen a bat. I don't think I've ever seen a bat. Why do you think most people never see bats? I'm going to read this page again. Listen and try to figure out, why do most people not see bats? Bats dive, swoop, and swerve through the dark night sky. These creatures are nocturnal, meaning they are awake at night and asleep during the day. Most people have never seen a bat. Did you figure it out? Why do most people not see bats? Say ding, 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 I got it. Yes, most people have never seen a bat because bats come out at night. They're opposite of humans. They're nocturnal. We're not awake in the middle of the night when they are. We're asleep. Bats have played an important part in stories. Many people have thought bats were evil spirits. Others have thought they were friends of ghosts and witches. Because many unkind things have been said about bats, some people still think they are scary. Actually, bats are shy and gentle animals. Wow. So I'm now trying to figure out what the author is trying to tell us, or why did he write this? Why did he say, or she say, actually bats are shy and gentle animals? Well, earlier it talked about how some people were scared of bats. And now the author is telling us that actually bats are really kind and gentle. So I think the author wants us to feel compassionate towards bats and actually think that they're pretty interesting and kind, not scary. Bats are mammals, as are dogs, cats, and humans. Did you know that? You're a mammal too. All mammals are warm-blooded animals, and their babies are born alive instead of being hatched from eggs. Bats are the only mammals that can fly? So the author just taught us about told us that bats are very kind and interesting and we should be compassionate towards them. And now the author is saying that bats are the only mammals that can fly. Now I think the author wants us to think that bats are special. Bats have been around for a long time. The oldest bat fossil found is about 50 million years old. These prehistoric bats look a lot like today's bats. All bats have the same basic characteristics, including large wings, small bodies, and lightweight bones. What text feature do you see here on this page? We've got this picture. It's got all kind of labels. Yeah, it looks like something you've been doing and you're all about books. This is an illustration. This is an illustration. This illustration is here to show us about the different parts of the bat. You can see the wings, the eyes, nose, ear. You can even see the fur of a bat. Ooh, it says it can be black, white, red, brown, or gray. So many different colors. Wow. Bats' wings are different from the wings of insects or birds. A bat's wing has long arm bones with very little finger bones. A thin skin called a membrane stretches between the bones. The thumbs end with a claw. The membrane connects the wing bones to a bat's body and legs. A bat can move each finger separately to change the shape of its wings. This helps it to change speed and direction quickly. I'm thinking about, why does the author tell us that a bat can move each finger separately to change the shape of its wings? What would be the purpose of the author telling us that? What does the author want us to know, think, or feel? If he's telling us about how bats are super skilled and able to move their individual fingers separately, then maybe the author's trying to get us to understand that bats are very skilled. They've got lots of cool techniques that they can use to survive and live. Some bats can fly as fast as 15 miles an hour and as high as 10,000 feet. When a bat lands, it flips upside down and hangs by its toe claws. It uses these claws to move around. Can you imagine hanging upside down for that long like a bat? I'd get pretty dizzy. Bats migrate when they go to and from a warmer climate. Bats choose many kinds of dark nooks and crannies to live in. These places are called roosts. Many bats live together in caves, attics, barns, or tall trees, in places where it gets cold in the winter. And some kinds of bats migrate to warmer climates. Others use their roosts to hibernate until spring. Lots of different kinds of bats, and lots of them prefer different things. Just before hibernating begins, bats eat lots of food to live on during the long winter months. Their heartbeats slow down and their body temperatures drop. Bats hibernate when they sleep deeply for long periods of time. This is also something that some bears do. Wow, I'm so glad that the author keeps labeling some of these pictures. Bats live on every continent except Antarctica. Most of them live in hot climates where there are many insects, fruits, and flowers to feed on. I like fruits just like bats. They eat flowers. Interesting. I don't eat flowers, but I do like to have them around my house. There are about 1,000 different kinds of bats. Say, ooh, ah, ooh, ah. The smallest is the kitty's hognose bat. Its wingspan is only 5 inches, and it weighs only 1/14 of an ounce. The biggest bat is the giant flying fox. It has a wingspan of about 5 feet. That's almost as tall as me. And it weighs about 2 pounds. They both live in Asia. Most bats are insect eaters and have a special way of seeing in the night called echolocation. Everyone say that? Echolocation. That's the special way of seeing in the night. A bat sends out a rapid beeping sound too high pitched for people to hear. And when hunting, the sound waves hit an insect, and the waves bounce back to the bat's ears as echoes. These echoes tell the bat the size and shape of the insect and where it's located. In a flash, the bat scoops up the insect. If it weren't for bats, there would be too many insects. Why is the author telling us that if it weren't for bats, there would be too many insects? What does the author want us to think or know or feel? Well, we know that the author's trying to tell us that we shouldn't be afraid of bats and that they're actually very kind. Maybe the author is trying to also tell us that bats are helpful. They help us keep our insects under control. We should appreciate bats if they're helping us keep the number of insects down. I'm glad the author is teaching us that. There are fruit and nectar eating bats too. These bats help pollinate plants so that we can have foods such as avocados, figs, and bananas. They also help scatter seeds. A few kinds of bats are meat eaters. They eat fish, frogs, mice, and sometimes birds. They have smooth, sharp, crushing teeth that allow them to eat what they catch, bones and all. Okay, I thought bats might be similar to humans because we're both mammals, but bats are pretty different. Blood is the only food for vampire bats. They are found in Mexico, Central America, and South America. When the vampire bat finds an animal, it makes a tiny cut with its teeth in the animal's skin so that the bat can get to the blood. The animal hardly feels the cut. Many scary and untrue stories have been told about vampire bats and people called vampires. This famous fictional vampire called Dracula frequently is shown with bats circling around him. Some bats have long, narrow faces. Others have short, round faces. Some bats have leaf-like shapes on their faces, while others look like dogs. Which one do you think looks like the dog? Most bats have very good hearing and can see well. Most bats have a good sense of smell too. In the springtime, female bats gather together in roosts that will become nurseries. There they will give birth to their babies called pups. Most bats have only one pup at a time. I didn't know that baby bats were called pups. During birth, the mother bat hangs by her thumb claws with her head up. She forms a basket with her tail membrane. At birth, the pup slides from her body into the basket. As soon as the pup is born, its mother hangs head down again. The pup nurses while being cradled under the mother's wing. The pup clings to its mother's fur, using its own sharp teeth and claws. The young pup grows quickly. A 10-day-old pup is almost too heavy for its mother to carry. At 3 months old, it is flying on nightly hunting trips. When it is about 1 year old, it's already an adult. Bats grow up really fast. Today, in many places, bat populations are getting smaller. These bats are endangered. That means there's not very many of them left and they're getting injured or killed in different ways. One reason is that many people still don't like bats, so they destroy their habitats. Other causes are pollution and the use of pesticides for killing crops and damaging insects. In many places, there aren't enough bats left to keep down the number of insect pests or to pollinate flowers. There aren't a lot of bats, and we need them to get these insects and plant flowers. Oh no. People are learning how to protect bats. Some people provide bat houses where they can roost. Some people cover bat cave entrances with grill work. Bats are free to come and go, but people can't. Also, there are nature preserves that protect large groups of bats. Bats play an important role in nature. It's fun to learn about them. I agree, it's so fun to learn about bats. I want to go back and look at this page where the author was talking about the population of bats. I want you to think, why does the author write about bat populations on these pages? So at the end of the story, the author starts describing the bat populations. Why does the author do that? I'm going to read these 2 pages again so you can think about your answer. Today, in many places, bat populations are getting smaller. These bats are endangered. One reason is that many people still don't like bats and destroy their habitats. Other causes are pollution and the use of pesticides for killing crop-damaging insects. In many places, there aren't enough bats left to keep down the number of insect pests or to pollinate flowers. So remember, your thinking job is, why does the author write about bat populations at the end of the story? That's what you're going to respond to today in a video. Once you take your video, make sure you submit it so your teacher can give you feedback. I'll write the answer and the directions so you know exactly what to do. Bye!